Minority bloc. The Senate of the Philippines is the upper house of Congress, the bicameral legislature of the Philippines. The House of Representatives is the lower house. The Senate is composed of 24 senators who are elected at large under plurality at large voting. Senators serve 6-year terms with a maximum of 2 consecutive terms, with half of the senators elected in staggered elections every 3 years. When the Senate was restored by the 1987 Constitution, the 24 senators who were elected in 1987 served until 1992. In 1992, the 12 candidates for the Senate obtaining the highest number of votes served until 1998, while the next 12 served until 1995. Thereafter, each senator elected serves the full 6 years. From 1945 to 1972, the Senate was a continuing body, with only 8 seats up every 2 years. Aside from having its concurrence on every bill in order to be passed for the President's signature to become a law, the Senate is the only body that can concur with treaties and can try impeachment cases. The Senate presidency, which is elected by senator from among them, is currently held by Tito Soto. The Senate has its roots in the Philippine Commission of the Insular Government. Under the Philippine Organic Act, from 1907 to 1916, the Philippine Commission headed by the Governor-General of the Philippines served as the upper chamber of the Philippine legislature, with the Philippine Assembly as the elected lower house. At the same time, the Governor-General also exercised executive powers. In August 1916, the United States Congress enacted the Philippine Autonomy Act, popularly known as the Jones Law, which created an elected bicameral Philippine legislature with the Senate as the upper chamber and with the House of Representatives of the Philippines, previously called the Philippine Assembly, as the lower chamber. The Governor-General continued to be the head of the executive branch of the insular government. Senators then were elected via senatorial districts via plurality at large voting. Each district grouped several provinces and each elected 2 senators except for non-Christian provinces where the Governor-General of the Philippines appointed the senators for the district. Future President Manuel L. Quezon, who was then Philippine Resident Commissioner, encouraged future President Sergio Osmna, then Speaker of the House, to run for the leadership of the Senate, but Osmna preferred to continue leading the lower house. Quezon then ran for the Senate and became Senate President, serving for 19 years. This setup continued until 1935, when the Philippine Independence Act, or the Tiddings-McDuffie Act, was passed by the U.S. Congress, which granted the Filipinos the right to frame their own constitution in preparation for their independence, wherein they established a unicameral National Assembly of the Philippines, effectively abolishing the Senate. Not long after the adoption of the 1935 Constitution, several amendments began to be proposed. By 1938, the National Assembly began consideration of these proposals, which included restoring the Senate as the upper chamber of Congress. The amendment of the 1935 Constitution to have a bicameral legislature was approved in 1940 and the first biennial elections for the restored upper house was held in November 1941. Instead of the old senatorial districts, senators were elected via the entire country, serving as an at-large district, although still under plurality at large voting, with voters voting up to 8 candidates, and the 8 candidates with the highest number of votes being elected. While the Senate from 1916 to 1935 had exclusive confirmation rights over executive appointments. As part of the compromises that restored the Senate in 1941, the power of confirming executive appointments has been exercised by a joint commission on appointments composed of members of both houses. However, the Senate, since its restoration and the independence of the Philippines in 1946, has the power to ratify treaties. The Senate finally convened in 1945 and served as the upper chamber of Congress from there on until the declaration of martial law by President Ferdinand Marcos in 1972, which shut down Congress. The Senate was resurrected in 1987 upon the ratification of the 1987 Constitution. However, instead of 8 senators being replaced after every election, It was changed to 12. In the Senate, the officers are the Senate President, Senate President pro tempore, Majority Floor Leader, Minority Floor Leader and the Senate Secretary and the Senate Sergeant at Arms who shall be elected by the senators from among the employees and staff of the Senate. Meanwhile, the Senate President, Senate President pro tempore, the Majority Floor Leader and the Minority Floor Leader shall be elected by the senators from among themselves. Article 6, Section 2 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution provides that the Senate shall be composed of 24 senators who shall be elected